Everyone, this is my EDL 850 case study on the internet use violations. So, what do I know about this case study? I know that the high school that this case is occurring at is in an upper class type of community. Parents who are very wealthy, students have the latest trends, latest technology, things like that. Dr. Smith, the principal there at this high school, is highly respected. He's in his ninth year or starting his 10th year. He 2 years ago was awarded by the state the secondary teacher of the year. So he's highly respected and he's esteemed for basically running a tight ship and keeping a very functional and um, highly respected, just like himself, school. Miss Tate, a teacher there, is in starting her second year of teaching. She teaches zoology, biology, and one other course. So a little bit more of a science courses that are outside of what would be considered a typical high school science class. And so because of that, her students are usually those who are competing with like valedictorian or salutatorian positions, things like that. So she has very, very high expectations in her classrooms. Due to her high expectations and the strive for good grades in there, Dr. Smith has received numerous phone call complaints from parents on Miss Tate. Um, Upon a long weekend, Miss Tate received an email urging her to check out a particular website. This website ended up being a Facebook page where there were highly suggestive comments made about her, one of which asking who wants Miss Tate to disappear. Due to that comment, Miss Tate feels very threatened by the posts, maybe feels like her life is a little bit at stake. So in a panic, she calls Dr. Smith. Dr. Smith handled the situation very well, had her forward him the URL, checked it out himself, kind of asked her to think back on what, maybe happened. She immediately places a blame on a single student. And due to this, Dr. Smith gave her kind of a beginning plan of action on what their steps will be to address her feeling of being threatened on the Facebook page as well. So what do I need to know? First of all, I'd want to know who the parents are who have made the complaints about Miss Tate. I'd want to know this in case if it's the same parents all the time or if it's different ones. I want to know if the email was sent in a way to sort of like, hey, notifying you this is happening, or if their intentions were more of, I want her to see this because I want her to know that she's hurting me, so in turn I'm going to hurt her kind of a situation. I want to know how long the Facebook page has been up and running, how many people have been participating on this page, who created it, was it a student or was it a parent? I also want to know, though, from a professional aspect, if Miss Tate has like a mentor as just a second year teacher. How involved is Dr. Smith in her classroom, especially knowing that he's received so many complaints? And going back to the Facebook page, was it created during school hours or was it done outside of school? So the problem is that Miss Tate feels threatened, and the other problem is that a student or a parent is bullying Miss Tate, and that's not okay. So a plan of action, first of all, Dr. Smith needs to find out who all participated on this Facebook page. Then he needs to contact IT regardless of what they get out of the students they're questioning and see if they can trace the email. It's better to have as much knowledge as you can before you start accusing someone or questioning them, because that could get you into more trouble potentially down the line. Dr. Smith does need to speak with all the students or parents, whoever were involved in this, whether it was who sent the email, who participated and created the Facebook page, all of those things. He also needs to let Miss Tate know that right now he's the one who needs to be doing the talking, so to say. So once you've spoken to everyone, you've kind of found your targets, know who's participated, things like that. Issues need to be addressed individually. And then also I would say potentially as a school to just kind of overview and address bullying as a whole, make it known that you guys are aware of things that maybe are going on outside of the school and how that can be brought to school, especially at the high school level. And then just kind of send out a message to the community that, you're a school and you want what's best for every child, but at the same time, you're also going to support your staff. Um, so after these issues have been addressed, disciplinary actions need to be followed according to policy based on what each student has done. So, if two students have done exactly the same thing, then they need to have the exact same punishment. No this for that type of thing, no quid pro quo. And then finally, policy needs to be reviewed and revised as necessary, as always, when a larger situation like this occurs. It could be, used on the internet. If this was done at school, has that site been blocked? Does it need to be blocked? Where does social media stand in education? Or even just bullying in general, or how you would handle discipline and procedures like this. So multiple policies might need to be reviewed in this situation. So how would I implement this? Well, first I need to gain information from the page and IT, and based on those responses, I would direct the next actions. Whoever created this Facebook page needs to delete it. Reviewing policy, contact parents, contact them if they're involved and also if their child's involved. I need to put the disciplinary actions in place and then also prepare how to address the issue as a whole group or school-wide, and then go ahead and deliver that. So what is best for the students? If you're addressing the bullying issue with the entire school, you're promoting the academic success and well-being of every student by potentially decreasing bullying that may be occurring that we already didn't know. This can easily promote academic success for students because, especially at the high school level, knowing where you stand socially and how you feel can highly impact how you progress and what your success is like in academics. Setting up the second half of the school year for success. They're not quite even halfway through the school year, so there's a long ways to go. So there needs to be some respect gained for Miss Tate. Students and parents both need to know that at the end of the day, she is a teacher, and what we want the outcome to be is success for our kids. So that may mean that Miss Tate needs to make some changes, but that's up to her and the administration. But overall, there needs to be a general setup for success for the rest of the school year. And then also promote positive choices on social media. Give them an understanding that things that you say or put out there may not be able to be taken back. Again, this comes back to kind of how a child is viewed in general and how that can impact their academics negatively based on how they're seen or how they feel about themselves. So different data from the case to support this. It says it's only November. There's been the numerous parent phone call complaints. There were highly suggestive comments made on social media that were negative, and Ms. Tate feels threatened. So going back, these different pieces of data also influence how those can promote the academic success of all those students. So what was I thinking during this? I think there needs to be more professional support for Ms. Tate, especially if you're receiving all these complaints. I thought Dr. Smith handled her reaction to the Facebook page very professionally. And then I was also wondering, how did it even get to this point? Which kind of goes back to Ms. Tate needing more professional support. I was feeling aggravated with Ms. Tate's lack of understanding. It says that, things had kind of been mentioned here and there, so, why hadn't she attempted to change or, sort of looked ahead at maybe some new potential outcomes for things if everyone's feeling frustrated. And then I was also frustrated that there was an administrative intervention. Things that I value looking at this, professional development. That professional development sometimes comes with just building a whole school family, school climate, atmosphere that might have made Miss Tate feel more supported and maybe like she didn't need to come on so strong. I value mentoring in my district. Every new teacher has at least 2 years of mentoring, and they can request a third year or they can be given a third year depending on how it's going. And then, of course, I value student success always. So students that would still be unresolved or issues that would still be unresolved are that no matter what, students are going to have access to multiple devices. They will find a way to access them during the school day, at home, everywhere. It's a part of our society. Um, Social media always going to play a role in our lives. It's just up to them to try to be positive instead of using it as a negative tool. And Miss Tate's teaching style, you can't change a person's teaching style, but you can change their delivery and their method. So unfortunately, the way that she teaches probably won't change, but possibly how she teaches could be. So the academic success of every student, ways that we could do that is increase student relationships. Um, you could do that through community and school activities. You know, the more well-liked that a student feels, the better they're going to do in your classroom. And by increasing these, it's going to increase their awareness of what you want your outcome for them to be and their participation in your classes. You can have professional development. Um, Dr. Smith looks for highly qualified staff, so then let's give them professional development that proves this. And also increase student opportunity, academic outreach. Talk to the students about what they feel like they need for their academics. So the personal well-being of every student. Um, Build those parent relationships. And not just for some parents, but all of them. That's where that fairness comes in. And then the response to that will just be an overall connectedness that you feel with your community and the students and everyone's success. Give newfound accountability to teachers and parents. If someone has something great going on, then let's share that with everyone and promote trying those new things so that we can get to those points so they can have that accountability and just have an overall positive attitude. Treat others the way you'd want to be treated. So for communities of engagement, acting in an ethical manner, let's engage these parents in this learning process. If they're having an issue with Miss Tate, maybe they need to reach out and see what the learning process is and reach out to Miss Tate too, not just Dr. Smith. Set policies on repercussions of the use of social media or just bullying in general. Make those known so that way if a child does get caught doing something like this and they're reprimanded, a parent fully understands what those repercussions would be regardless of who their child is or what they're involved in. And finally, let's just have an overall higher motivation and hold everyone accountable, regardless of who they are, what subjects they teach, or how good their grades are. Everyone needs to be accountable for their own actions. And if those are positive actions, then there's going to be an overall higher motivation. So this concludes my case study, and thank you for watching.